language watch series that the Restoration of America has been doing because I've watched a few clips and I think it's so important. I mean, that's one of the globalists, the communists, the Marxist agenda is twisting words, twisting the language of things. And that's what they've done. I mean, even if you look at something as simple as birth control, right? It used to be, I mean, as soon as Margaret Sanger coined the term birth control, it was for population control. It was to control the population. Well, she realized that was not going to fly in the face of women, so they had to change the verbiage, the terminology to this is for women's rights. And they've done this over and over and over again through a slew of different things. I mean, you look at the way they promoted the feminist movement. Oh, this is for liberation. We want to liberate you. We want you to truly be free because you haven't experienced freedom before. And I love that you guys are doing that. So share with my audience a little bit more about this language watch series, how important it is that we understand how they are, these Marxists, these globalists, these communists are trying to twist language and confuse us. Share a little bit about that.
Yeah, you hit on a really good point, just in the fact that everything that you're saying about how women's rights have been twisted in that way, it kind of puts us in this little alternate reality where it's confusing to people,
Yeah.
especially just citizens who are trying to understand politics, understand reality, basically. It's confusing when you have all this verbiage that says, oh, well, this is for women's rights or abortion rights. That's one of the videos that we've done. That's why it's important because it really does have an impact on the way we think. And this is something that's been said time and time again. It comes out of communist Saul Alinsky's playbook for leftists called Rules for Radicals. He says that he who controls the language controls the masses. And that's absolutely true. And that playbook is used, and there are tactics that the left, communist Marxist left, uses today. But the Language Watch series that Restoration of America has put together has basically 1 minute videos that break down and identify phrases that are commonly misused for this exact purpose. Things such as gun violence, abortion rights, climate change, book banning, all broken down in these 1 minute videos to be a resource for conservatives to be able to say, okay, yeah, I see this used all the time. For example, Kamala Harris uses the phrase abortion rights constantly and women's rights and that's so important that we identify as conservatives. And one thing that's interesting is most of the time as conservatives we do know that we're not on the winning side of the language battle. We know that the left is controlling a lot of the verbiage that's used in mainstream conversation. But for whatever reason, this is a battle we kind of just throw our hands up and, ah, it's too bad, but we're not going to do anything about it, is essentially what happens a lot of the time. So, Restoration of America has basically decided, you know what, it's time for us to take back the language, halt these
Sure.
phrases immediately when they're being used, and not allow language to be manipulated as it has been.